welcome everyone to the first episode of Heavy Metal Horror Show. This is our first show. This is a pilot episode, and here we're going to talk about everything heavy metal and everything horror. We're both heavy metal enthusiasts, music enthusiasts in general, and we both love scary movies. So we thought, why not share some of our thoughts and maybe let you guys know about some movies that maybe you haven't seen, from the past and present. In today's episode, we're going to talk about an iconic cult classic from 1985 called Fright Night. This movie. I mean, I remember I was a little kid. I must have been, 7, 8 years old. And my mom was in I forgot what we were going to see, but we were going to see at the movie theater. But I saw this poster of Fright Night, and I remember being so scary as a kid. It was just like that demon-looking thing over the house, and I was so intrigued by it, even as a kid. It freaked me out.
Yeah, even now, like I think one of the cool, like it's an awesome cult classic movie, but for me, I think like some of the my favorite stuff about it is like the poster and all the like the trailer images and things like that have always stuck with me since I was a kid, like you said.
It's so the artwork was way ahead of its time, and at the time, when this was filmed, a lot of people were trying to do to achieve what they achieved, with the animatronics and everything. And just, we look at it now, and it looks a little bit...
It's a little cheesy now.
A little bit, yeah.
But in the 80s, early 90s, I mean, that's...
It was cutting edge, right?
Yeah, and it was like as real as it gets, and it was... It was spooky, man. It was awesome.
It was so scary.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that sort of hold up, too. I mean, we just saw it. We just watched it, 2 weeks ago? Just to sort of get reacquainted with it. And... I mean, some of it's nostalgia, but for me, it's just as awesome today as it was in 1980. Well, I forgot when I saw it. It might have been 1990 when I actually saw it, but it's still as cool. It's just as cool now as it was back then. So
so we had the TSV.
Oh yeah, that was a rental place when that existed for all you young guys out there.
That was before Blockbuster existed.
Right.
It was a mom and pop shop. Judge Perez Highway in St. Bernard, Louisiana, and but like they had this one section that was specifically tailored to horror stories.
Yes.
So it was like,
like
you had to walk in like through. I think they had like some beads or something. Like you walk
spider web and stuff.
And like you're in the horror section and you're surrounded by like all this awesome stuff, man. And that stuck with me for. All the way until now, So I'm thankful for the Burmaster family, Big Al, and all those guys, Kevin, for those memories. It's
they certainly instilled like a love for that genre of movie, right? Like it's just it was an incredible time to be alive.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And real quick, speaking of the beads, that was the section. Now that I'm thinking about it, that we weren't supposed to go in as kids. Like they had those movies back there, the 18 and up flicks.
That was the.
If you accidentally took a wrong turn at some point and peeked in the curtain,
Accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally up every time. Anyway, Fright Night.
Well, this movie is basically, based off of a horror movie fanatic by the name of Charlie Brewster in the movie. His real name is William Ragsdale. He was in several movies at the time. Won't get into that right now, but he was a movie-loving teenager, right? And he fantasized about everything supernatural. And he watched this show called Fright Night, which was a show inside of the movie, and that sort of influenced his worldview, I guess. So he saw a little bit of horror in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one day he saw his neighbor move in, and he saw some suspicious things happening in the yard, and he was sort of under the suspicion that something was off, right? Then the next day, they show a young lady walking in to the house, and then the next day at school, he sees her in the news. She was a murder victim. Then he was convinced that these guys were vampires. I think that he saw them carry out the body or something like that. His roommate was carrying out the body to the trunk of the car or something like that.
Yeah, she was like rolled up in carpet or some garbage bags or something.
Yeah. So imagine seeing that as a young kid, right? It was scary. So at that point, he was absolutely convinced, right? So the first people he tries to tell about his revelation are his girlfriend Amy and his friend Evil, who hated to be called evil.
He's one of my favorite characters of the film, by the way.
Yeah, he is awesome.
He's just funny as hell. He's just quirky little dude. I don't know.
Yeah, he was sort of a friend. He sort of wanted to punch him in the face.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster. I can't stand it.
One of those guys,
Oh yeah.
But so he eventually goes to the police because Amy, his girlfriend, and his friend Evil thought he was crazy, right? So he goes to the police, and the detective goes to Jerry Dandridge's house. So Jerry Dandridge was the vampire's name that lived next door.
The alleged at that moment.
Alleged vampire, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was actually played by Chris Randon, who was a big name actor at the time. I mean, he played all kinds of movies at the time. And so he goes over there, but of course it was during the day. So Jerry Dandridge, the vampire, was sleeping in his coffin. But his I don't know what you'd call him. What's his name? Billy Cole was his name. And he was sort of his roommate / carpenter / friend, I guess.
Yeah, he was just like a roommate, carpenter. Kind of did the handiwork around the guy's house.
Yeah.
As far as we could tell at this point in the movie.
Yeah. But the problem is that the detective couldn't find anything, and Billy Cole, his friend, led the detective to believe that it was all Charlie's imagination, that he was just some crazy kid. Even when he said, well, let's go to the basement and go check out that, the detective was really concerned, I guess, about wasting their time at that point, and no one believed Charlie. So the detective left. He was really upset when he left, and basically said, don't bother me again, kid. So,
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie. So at that point in the movie, Charlie, not knowing what to do, he resorts to the TV personality in Fright Night, who was a vampire killer. His name was Peter Vincent, vampire killer. And he's the one who hosted the show. He was basically a washed up actor at the time, but Charlie really believed that he could kill a vampire.
Yeah.
So he goes to the studio asking for help, and with a lot of convincing and back and forth, Peter Vincent gets involved, and that's when things really start to turn up, in this movie. We don't want to give away the ending for those who haven't seen it, but I highly, highly suggest this movie. It's one of the best iconic vampire movies around, and it really does hold up. In 2024, it holds up.
Yeah, if you got kids and they're not 6 or 7, then go ahead and let them watch this one, because it'll stick with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For me, like I said earlier, it was of the time. It was well done.
Yeah.
Looking back, I still love it. I still love like that kind of the non-CGI type stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe to some kids it might be like, they're used to CGI at this point. Maybe, I don't know. But,
right.
But
right.
yeah. Anyway, we recommend you guys checking it out.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool little facts about this movie too, it's a lot of interesting things happen, right? And I don't know if you knew this or not, but this was Tom Holland's first time ever directing a movie. This is his first movie that he ever made in a long line of movies after it. It was So it's pretty cool that this, this was his debut, and it became such an iconic film.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
Yeah.
something to be proud of.
Yeah. Can you imagine being Tom Holland?
Did you say Tom Holland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Spider-Man.
No relation to Spider-Man.
No relation. No, not even his great uncle or anything. Like,
Yeah.
Not related.
It's about vampires, not spiders. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah. So yeah. Did you know that? Tom Holland? It only took him 3 weeks to write the script for this whole movie.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's funny. I did a little research on it, and he's quoted as saying that for the majority of the time he was. Well, it says he was laughing the entire time of writing the script just because it was so hilarious to him.
Wow.
Because some of it was like so off the wall. He had fun writing the script. He loved what he was doing, and it's evident. And like the movie is great. We're talking about it, so for what is that, 40 something years now?
Yeah.
Close to it.
It's insane. Yeah.
I can't do math at the moment, but
a lot of time.
Yeah.
Has passed.
I mean, we're not trying to show our age or anything, but
21 years is a long time to be alive.
Yeah,
Long time.
but yeah. So imagine like doing something that you love so much that you're just cracking yourself up while doing it.
Yeah.
And then being so successful that somebody's talking about it in 2024.
Oh God.
That's
how you know you made it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, Did you know that Jerry Dandridge, played by Chris Sarandon, he was a huge star at the time, right? And when he was first presented with the idea from Tom Holland, he thought, no way, I'm not doing that, because he looked at the title Fright Night, and he thought it was ridiculous at first. What is this, But what's funny is that he in an interview he said that he owed it to Tom Holland to just at least read the script, right?
Yeah, because he wasn't a horror guy.
He wasn't a horror guy at all, nor did he think that he could even play a vampire. So he started reading it. Literally 5 minutes into the role, he said, I have to take this role, and he flew out to go see Tom Holland. So, I mean, imagine how things would have went, how different the movie would have been if he wouldn't have accepted the role, if he wouldn't have, taken the job on and just took a chance on it.
Yeah. And that kind of opened some doors for him, because following that movie, he was in Child's Play.
Yeah,
he was the main detective in that movie.
That's true. So
that's
right.
He opened up some more range, outside of just theater, and then a couple, non-horror roles.
Yeah.
So now he was able to add that to his resume.
And it's funny you say theater, because Chris Sarandon is a true actor, right? And he said in an interview once that he preferred to stick with theater as well as TV, so that he could stay grounded, because he truly loves the art of acting, and it's evident in this movie.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of theater and Broadway shows and things like that, did you know that Evil Ed Thompson, he got his start in Broadway. That's where he started.
Did he really?
Yeah, Broadway shows and stuff. and yeah, he actually got the role for that movie by mistake. So he gets a call from his booking agent, whom he shared with Michael Anthony Hall. So this booking agent set up a meeting with a talent agency or somebody booking for this movie called Weird Science. So
you got to be kidding me.
No. So Evil
what?
Evil goes to this interview to like go try out for the part of I think it's Gary for Weird Science.
Yeah.
And the blonde haired dude.
Right.
And he walks in to do the interview, and the the lady sitting there looks up and she's like, "You're not, you're not Anthony Michael Hall." And he's like, "Nope, I'm not." you know. And so he sits down and they talk, and he says about a half hour later, you know, like they're just having a conversation. And he shakes her hand and leaves and goes about his business. Well, it was like, I think a couple months later, his talent agent gets a phone call from who he was doing an interview with for Weird Science. It was like, hey, I got this role that I think he's going to be perfect for. And that was the role of Evil Ed for Fright Night. So he was almost in Weird Science, which is another iconic 80s movie.
That's not exactly a horror movie, but maybe we should talk about that one episode too. Who knows, right?
Who knows where this is going to go? I mean,
that was another really awesome.
It's kind of
movie.
like Frankensteinish, you know, science, you know, science fiction-y.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, unless you talk about Chet. I mean, that's kind of scary for a young kid to see.
God.
You know, a pile of shit talking.
Literal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was a good one. It was certainly a good one. Did you know that Peter Vincent, the vampire killing the movie, was sort of modeled off of Vincent Price, in a way. I don't know who else. Maybe you know. But where I'm going is that they really wanted Vincent Price for the role, but at that time he had done so many horror movies that he got typecast. So he wouldn't want to do it. He wasn't interested in it.
It was kind of like the opposite of what was his name, Chris Randon, you know.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So, but I mean, I can only imagine that that if Vincent Price would have been in the movie, like how different it would have been. You can tell as evidence of Vincent Price's like sort of acting style, in it, right?
Yeah, you can definitely see
it's pretty obvious,
Yeah, and they came up with that name from. It was, I believe it was Tom's like most influential horror genre actors.
Okay.
So it was Peter Cushing, and Vincent Price.
Okay.
And they took Peter and Vincent, put those together.
That makes sense.
But the cool thing, did you know, Peter Cushing? I don't know.
Cushing, I think. Yeah.
Cushing.
Cushing. Yeah. I don't know how to say his name.
Anyway, your boy Peter, not Steele. His debut movie was in 1939, and it was called The Man in the Iron Mask.
Wow.
Which I had no idea that the Man in the Iron Mask that I've seen, I'm sure maybe you've seen, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I had no idea that was a remake.
I had no idea.
But like that was his first movie in 1939.
Wow, I thought that was the original movie with.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, but but Peter also appeared in. There was a horror genre studio called Hammer Studio.
Okay.
And Peter did 22 horror films with them.
Wow.
And some of his the big ones were he played Baron Frankenstein.
Okay.
And six of 7 Frankenstein movies.
Huh.
And then he played Dr. Van Helsing in like 5 Dracula films with Hammer Studios.
No shortage of Dracula films.
Yeah. So he's he's put in some work. Vincent Price. His first movie was in 1938. Speaking of crossovers and changing genres, his first movie was. Can you guess what type of film that was?
A romantic comedy?
Comedy. Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah. His first movie was comedy. I don't know the name of the movie, but
wow.
But yeah.
Wow, that's a drastic change.
So he was doing like that kind of stuff until 1953, I think, is like when he established himself as a horror guy.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty awesome, man.
It's pretty cool.
And he did the voiceover in the spoken word section of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Like the big laugh at the end and everything, and the creature of the night.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't remember the whole speech.
Now that you say it, I could hear it now.
Yeah, that was him. And
that's pretty cool.
And speaking of his films and how he was trying to get away from the horror thing, do you know what his last movie was?
Edward Scissorhands?
I was gonna say, did you know? But apparently you know. So there you go.
Guess.
Yeah,
that was another good one. That was another great movie.
Oh yeah, Tim Burton's awesome.
Oh my God, yeah, we'll have to talk about that one another day too.
Yeah,
there's so many awesome little facets of that movie too that we could get into.
Yeah.
So one thing that confused me about Fright Night, especially the first time I saw it when I was younger, was Billy Cole, his roommate. Now here's a guy who appears to have this supernatural aura around him, but then the next thing you know, you see him walking during the day. And at the end of the movie, wait, can I say that?
I don't know if you want to give it away.
Let's not give it away.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that he was presented almost as a human, but there were things in the movie that make you think otherwise.
Yeah.
So
it could be supernatural, could not.
Yeah. So we
know.
should just leave that where it is.
Yeah, I think.
Let the viewers find out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you just.
I'm dying to talk about it, but
you're oozing to like talk about it, but you know. But yeah.
Well,
speaking of Charlie, old Charlie, did you know that William Ragsdale learned that he was getting the lead part for that movie on Halloween night?
Get out of here!
Get right out of town!
Get right
for
out of
real,
here.
man. He found out Halloween night, which is like really awesome. Yeah.
I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Speaking of Halloween. It's in what, 30 days?
Yeah.
29 days?
29 days, yeah.
Halloween 2024.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I think this is a great time to release our pilot, get this thing kicked off in October.
Yeah, I think so too. This is my favorite month by far out of the year as it is. Halloween's the only real holiday in my opinion. And, it's definitely the most fun, right?
Yeah.
For adults anyway.
Yeah, and it's like the beginning of my favorite time of the year. You know, just like the weather.
It's not melt your face off hot outside every single day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, down here it's still like kind of warm, but I mean, you could get away with like a long sleeve shirt or like a hoodie or something and be fine.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, every year is different.
Every year is different. I mean,
sometimes you are sweating on Halloween, and other times I remember having to like wrap up and multi coats.
Yeah.
So we've got weird weather down here in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Yeah, I would classify it as bipolar. Yeah. Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, another interesting fact about Friday. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a fact. So, I've read in a lot of different places that the ending of the movie was supposed to be different than how it actually ended. Now, I'm not giving anything away because it's not actually how it ended. But once you see the movie, you'll see how different what I'm about to say is from the actual ending. So, as we said before, Fright Night is a movie inside of a movie. Fright Night was the series, with Peter Vincent hosting it inside the movie, right? The writers apparently had an alternate ending, never was recorded or anything like that, and I can't find any concrete evidence of it. There's a lot of people who say the same thing, and they say that the ending could have been Peter Vincent transforming into an actual vampire while hosting Fright Night in front of a studio audience at the end.
Wow,
that would have been a really cool ending too.
Yeah,
Damn. I mean, could you imagine? Where that could have gone from there.
Absolutely. I mean, he could have vamped out and like started tearing up people in the audience.
Yeah. He could have made like 10 more vampires or 100 more. Who knows?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, maybe he did. I don't know.
Maybe he did.
I mean, there's a Fright Night Part 2 that I don't remember if I ever watched it.
I don't remember either.
But I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you guys want us to cover Fright Night Part 2, let us know in the comments and we'll do it.
Absolutely, man.
Why not, right?
We didn't even mention that, like the whole, the typical like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good shit.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, we're all new to
I didn't hear no bell.
this,
You know,
I mean,
so-
well, you know.
I got so excited talking about it, like we didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Please leave some comments, some suggestions, some more facts about this movie if you've got some corrections if needed.
Please do. Yeah. This is our first time ever trying to do anything like this. We just want to convey the passion that we have, for horror movies, and also heavy metal music, and hard rock too. I guess it's not all classified as heavy metal. It's a lot of just heavy music, right, in general. But didn't you say that Evil, who played in Fright Night, was in another movie as well? But he got the lead role. What was the name of that movie?
Yeah. So speaking of Fright Night 2, he was offered the role to come back to Fright Night Part 2, but he turned it down because he was getting the lead role for a movie called 976 Evil.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Which we need to. I need to go back and rewatch that because I remember loving it as a kid as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that it's 976 Evil, and that was his nickname in Fright Night.
Right.
But the other cool fact is about 976 Evil was directed by a guy that isn't too well known these days, but I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but a guy by the name of Robert Englund.
You gotta be kidding me.
Nah.
That guy?
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger. He was the director of 976
I didn't even
Evil.
know he was a director. I didn't even know, what?
He might not have either, but he directed that,
That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember it being a great movie.
Wow. What a multifaceted dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Right?
I wish that he could come back and do another Nightmare on Elm Street.
That would be awesome.
He's the iconic. Like, he made that.
Yeah, he did.
Every movie with him in it is just, you can't replace. He's one of those actors you can't replace. It's like trying to remake a Nicolas Cage movie with not Nicolas Cage.
Right,
It just doesn't work.
Right. It wouldn't
No
work,
offense to what's his name, Jackie Earl, or the guy who played like Freddy in the remake.
I only saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He did a good job doing that movie. Like, it's good. It's great for what it is. It was too serious for my taste.
Yeah.
I like the hokiness. The fun factor of that Robert Englund brought to it.
He's definitely irreplaceable in the role of Freddy Krueger. No one else could ever do it. And Robert Englund, if you happen to see this episode one day, please just do one more. Just one more.
Yeah.
Bring Nancy back too, please.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so awesome.
I'd love it, man.
Yeah, I know you guys could do it. Let's make it happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 976 Evil. We should check that out and do an episode on it.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Deftones has got a song called 976 Evil. I don't think it has anything to do with the movie, but that, like, if you read the lyrics, it kind of has a little bit of a dark vibe to it, but that's Deftones as well, though. But, I'm a huge Deftones fan.
Yeah, they're great.
So I mean, we'll probably cover them in the near future as well.
Yeah.
Because like we said in the beginning, like, we love horror movies. We just really love movies. We love music. It's ingrained in our soul. It's big. I mean, we just flew to West Palm Beach.
2 weeks
left on a
ago.
Friday night, came back on Sunday to go see Korn, Gojira, and Spirit Box, which was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Start to beginning.
Highly recommend. Spirit Box, it was the opener. Had some of the. It was just so much energy there. with that group, and everything was just so heavy and full. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And and Gojira was like speed technical metal on. It was amazing. They were really tight. It sounded exactly like what you'd hear like on a studio recording. Very, very impressive. So it was a great show.
Oh yeah,
great show.
And then Korn just came out and just like did their thing. And
oh god,
I love going to shows and seeing live bands and things like that. Sometimes I'll see a band and it's a band that I love, and it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm getting old. Let's wrap it up. I feel bad thinking that because there's a big part of me that's like it's so into it. I love it.
Yep.
But like band, Korn is one of those bands like they just played and played and played and I just got more and more amped up every single time. Every song, I'm like, oh my god, they're playing. Like they're gonna play Blind, obviously. But then they go into Ball Tongue, then they throw in Clown, and it's Children of the Corn, Dead Bodies Everywhere. Just, like they play.
That was awesome.
Songs that are so iconic to who they are that not most people, but a lot of people haven't heard because it hadn't been on the radio or MTV back in the day. Right. And I love when bands do that, when they play those hidden gems.
I love that too.
So we're going like we're doing like this in this video right now. Like,
hey, you know what though? It is heavy metal and horror show, so
mean,
you never know what you're going to get when you tune into an episode. Some episodes we might just talk about horror movies. Some days we might do a mix. Some episodes we might do a mix, and some episodes we might just cover one of our favorite bands and maybe get into some of the technical aspects of the music. Who knows, right? Yeah. We don't even know at this point.
Yeah, we're just up here having fun and loving it. And, and hope you guys enjoy it as well. And get something out of it. Yeah. So please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate your time and everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.
Yeah, thanks. Heavy Metal Horror Show, Episode 1.
End scene.
Cut.
Just like we practiced.
No. Oh yeah.